That's crazy.
What's crazy?
That it's not catching Discord anymore.
Damn. There's
Give me a
no
second.
way. There goes Le Chiffre,
There we go.
aka Mads Mikkelsen, aka Hideo Kojima's other boyfriend, aka Jeff Keighley's best friend.
I don't know if he's best friends with Jeff Keighley, but he's definitely like 1 degree of separation from Jeff Keighley.
Look, man, once they're all connected to Hideo Kojima and Jeff Keighley, they're all just best friends. Just like Norman Reedus.
I feel like Jeff Keighley plays a very small part in that sentiment.
Just like Guillermo del Toro. You know?
Guillermo del Toro.
They're all just besto friendos. Also, we didn't connect our chats again.
I fucking expected that. That's why I was testing. Start share.
I think I would.
Out of the thing.
But I never got the invitation. If you sent another one, I didn't see it then.
Okay, let me Can I do that?
Can I just join you? Hold on.
You should be able to.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Shared chat has started.
Why does it pop out like that? I hate that it pops out like that as a separate.
Well, the fact that you can't close it while maintaining shared chat.
Yeah.
Is dumb. But yeah, here's definitely been hanging out in California for a couple of days, Mads Mikkelsen. Oop.
What the hell?
One moment.
Why does it say stream together fucking ended?
Did you close the tab?
No. I was like looking right at it and then it said stream together ended.
Oh. That tab crashed. Hey guys, streaming's really not as straightforward as you would think.
Not at all.
Isn't that
folks.
fun?
Not
anyway, Mads Mikkelsen
Hi,
is
Adam.
cool. And
how are you? Oh yeah. It was actually just really cool to just see him there because I didn't expect him to be there. But the fact that he's like still like cool with a bunch of the projects he's done in the past, especially this one, like James Bond, is like one of the first times I like really saw him as like the prominent villain was in Casino Royale with Daniel Craig. I was like, yo, that's freaking sick. And that movie's I didn't realize how old that movie is now.
It's like over a decade old.
Mm-hmm. I was like, holy shit. Very sleepy.
Weird.
No. Well, yeah. It's a little late for you over there, Autumn. As the summer class has been treating you.
Something went wrong.
What?
I don't think shared chats are working.
Hold on. Let me end this. Restart. Okay. Send another one. Join. Here we go. Okay, now it should be.
Okay.
Share chat is on. Okay,
don't
perfect.
close that tab. But yeah, I mean, we can honestly we'll just cut that whole bit out. Anyway,
yeah.
Mads Mikkelsen's cool. That's the whole bit there. I don't know if I'm gonna play that fucking James Bond game, and I'm definitely not playing the Hitman game because I'm not a fan of the way that is monetized.
The new one, yeah, I don't know. The fact that they made the base game free, and then it's like you have to buy each chapter or upgrade thereafter. Yeah, it ends up being like $100 and something for just to get all of it.
It's significantly more expensive than just putting out a fucking game, and I understand that it's a more monetizable thing, but also that sucks for the consumer. And
absolutely.
I'm kind of mad on Hitman after the last decade. So,
I mean, I loved what they did when they brought back the Hitman But then once they made it this whole like open world global thing where essentially you're literally competing against other people to get the best score, and then you're locked to only certain missions depending on what version of the game you have, it's like, that sucks. That really sucks. This game though, I do want to play with people. Just because it's Lego Party. Lego. Yes.
So the thing, have you watched anyone stream Pummel Party?
No, I've heard of Pummel Party, but I've never actually.
So this Lego game feels like, instead of trying to be a Lego Mario Party, it feels like it's trying to be Lego Pummel Party. Like it's a punching down kind of thing.
What? I didn't know that.
It just the vibe of it and the way that the mini games on the map look, it feels a lot more Pummel Party than it does Mario Party Competitor. Which is weird because they're getting canceled, or they're getting a fucking console and also have access to all of the Lego licenses. So it's like, how much of a competition could that really be?
Yeah.
So Wildgate is not Splitgate.
No, they're two different games.
I definitely remember. No, I do remember this
one. Wildgate is the one where it's like the snatch and grab thing, where you have to go into other ships, grab the whatever the objective is, and then get it to your ship.
Because I don't think I've ever played Extraction shit.
No, I wouldn't consider this an extraction game.
I mean, because like Tarkov's the big one that everyone talks about when they talk about extraction.
If I remember correctly,
not like get in, take the enemy team shit, and then get out.
Yeah, essentially that's what it is. But I don't know if they consider it an extraction game or not. But I mean, that's what it feels like. But I know, that's like the thing they have. You're working and fighting to get that prize.
It looks interesting.
Whatever this chrome or this fucking golden snitch-esque thing is. I don't know. It didn't really do it for me. But also too because it feels very dependent on playing with people.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the reason I've been so like hesitant to engage with a lot of, I mean, again, most of this falls into the streamer slop category, but like extremely online co-op oriented stuff. Is that there is a end, like there is an end of life cycle to it. There is a maximum play potential time.
Yeah.
And I if I'm gonna play a game, I want to play a game that I can play at any. I started playing Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader recently, and that game's been out for years.
Yeah,
and it's still fresh and playable and good, and that's why I'm so in depth with
I don't know, for me,
I'm in with RPG
to play online.
I know that I have this and I can play it.
Yeah, for me to play online games like that, it really needs to be a game that look at Left 4 Dead. I could go back to this day and still find people playing that damn game to this day actively. And then there are games where I'm like, man, I want to play this, and then within a year, they're already being taken down. And it's like, what the hell?
Well, I think there are two factors to that, and
I can't get invested in online games.
Yeah, A, it's quality, and B, it's the fact that Steam will continue to support their first-party software forever.
Oh, absolutely.
At least within the confines of what an online marketplace can allow. If you get shit that is in a Ubisoft online only game is going to be gone within a year.
Yep.
I mean, look at fucking. I think we learned this lesson with Concord, because it's everyone is so sick of the fucking always online hero shooter that you literally need something as big as the Marvel license to have a successful one in the current age.
This game currently right here, Ill,
yeah,
Ill is one I'm so invested in, right out the gate. When I saw it, I was all about it.
As much as I really enjoy the body horror, I don't know how this game is going to play, because everything. Everything that we see seems really like scripted.
Yeah.
In terms of like just movement and everything. Like it looks like, oh, we're trying to emulate gameplay, but no. Like I don't even know if this shit's running an engine. Like just the way that certain movement is
just certain movements do look very
mutant.
scripted to what they want to show off, which
like,
is why I'm like
the horde of meat that we just saw going to react in game, like
this is which is why I want to see more. But in terms of first impression, like what it caught me, I was like, this looks dope in terms of like the body dismemberment and what's going on, and just like the different like sizing and scale of like whatever you're fighting. I'm like, holy cow, like this definitely, because I love Resident Evil games, and so some of this stuff already I was just like, oh yeah, this definitely, I would love to play this. I'm definitely gonna check it out. I just want to see more of the actual in-game like gameplay, like how it's gonna be in the moment to moment. Like,
yeah,
are these moments just like how they felt in the trailer,
like,
or were those ones just
like
staged?
Cinematic.
Yeah,
like this, it feels like cinematic trailer cut to look like gameplay, but definitely fucking isn't. I mean, it kind of harkens back to like the vibe of Stalker and
yes,
maybe even a little bit Metro, but this is definitely more like, here is the meat of it all.
Excuse me.
So if they can maintain that and present gameplay that terrible, then I think that it's just going to be a win, because people generally like Eastern European body horror.
Yeah,
which is a weird thing to say until you like really are like, oh no, yeah, no.
I didn't realize
like
that game was being made by like a team in Canada and Armenia, actually. Ill.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't realize. I thought it was just Canadian, but no, it's like a mix of Canada and Armenia. Like there's dev teams on each side that are in cooperation with each other on all that.
Well, it's that new like conglomerate publisher, right? What is it, Munfish or Munhook?
Yeah, Munfish.
Like there have been like 4 or 5 Munfish trailers in the Summer Games Fest presentation.
Yeah, in this presentation alone,
that are all like tonally very different. So,
well, yeah, the 2 Atomic Heart ones were Munfish.
Well, they are now.
Yeah, they are now, I should say.
Are you gonna play Mecha Break? That kind, I don't know. I don't know.
No, I want to give it a go.
I feel like the trailers that they presented have all been really like tonally different. Like this one felt a lot more like, hey, we're gonna be the Armored Core competitor. Yeah. Whereas some of the other ones have been like, hey, look, it's a Gundam. And hey, look, it's definitely maybe. Hey, did you like Day? Well, here's another game. Sequel coming out.
Speaking of that Daemon X Machina.
Daemon X Machina.
That demo that they had at IGN Live Fest, that was so good. That felt so good to play.
So to talk about IGN Live, because I feel like this trailer is taking forever. I was only there for day one. So we went to well, technically we did kind of stand there for the Daggerheart micro panel. IGN's panels were really fucking short, which I know is like typical of the event, but it was a little jarring. So we stuck around for the Daggerheart presentation, which is the Critical Role first party new TTRPG, and they were talking about the online crafter, because that game is like very heavily centered on building up your character with the tool set. So there is just a free to use card crafter that you can implement into your games for Daggerheart. So alongside the general shift from like a D&D like, Daggerheart does not have a strict initiative system, so you can have a lot more cooperative play. The book really heavily focuses on like world building and character crafting and interpersonal relationship, character formation within the Session Zero guides. It's really interesting, and I like it's sold out right now, so I actually do want that book eventually, but I really want to find a group to run it with, because on top of that, the core mechanics of the game, it's a dual D12 system, which nothing else fucking uses. The hope and fear mechanics of Daggerheart are super, super interesting, where you can shoot, essentially, you can either run like a lower result that will have a better output because it's rolled with your hope die, or you can have a more successful result that gives the DM more tools to work with by rolling your fear numbers, which essentially become points for them to use in later battles or different stuff. There's a lot of really cool things about it, and I would love to do a TTRPG focused thing, but we that was the first like kind of panel we stuck around for. Then we went and saw the Critical Role 10-year anniversary panel. Hung out with Iceman and Blade Fireheart. They were in around that time, which was cool. Like if you watch Critical Role, seeing the cast talk is fun. Even if you aren't, it's good to see the most recurring cast in any number of things, because it's Matt Mercer and Liam O'Brien. Mercer doesn't comparatively as much work as some of the others, but you know, she's really solid. Yeah, just hearing them gas about stuff was fun. Although, again, the complaint with Live's panels were that I don't know if they can have a longer set schedule, if they have like the ability to make that work, especially with the venue. But everything felt like way too like 40 minutes too short. I don't know if you got that feel from it.
Yeah, well, it did feel very like rapid fire, and I don't know if it's because of just scheduling. I don't know if it was the venue per se. I wonder if it was just their scheduling, because on day two,
because their panels are always around that short.
Because
I just don't think you can run an effective panel for 20 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, because on day two, I didn't even realize that they were doing panels downstairs in the room to the left where all the narwhal thing was and all that. At the very end, they were doing more. They were doing more out there. Those ones they were taking a little bit more time with, but it was all the ones upstairs in the theater that they were like blazing through more. Because those panels, none of them went over like, I want to say
not
an hour.
To cut away, but the Kenny Omega cosplay commercial.
This was so amazing. Was so, I fucking love the whole thing where it's just
in person was hilarious.
Like, I was sitting there for a second. I was like, "What the hell is Kenny Omega?" At first, I didn't realize. I was like, "Is he promoting like a new wrestling game?" And then when I saw the Alex face, I was like, is this the new season of Street Fighter? And then he went in to see Viper.
I was like, are they gonna do like a fucking Street Fighter the movie fighter with current WWE fucking cast people?
See, because then my other idea was, are they gonna put Kenny Omega in the game? That's gonna be so sick. And then no, it's just the season 3 reveal that he dressed up as everyone, and I was like, oh my god,
if Kenny Omega was a guest star, that would be a little. So, whatever.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you want Kenny Omega in your game?
But to finish up about the IGN, they essentially had 2 folders which had a series of demo stands. Like, some of them were a little more involved. Like, there was a Rainbow Six Siege thing that had like 12 PC units all like lined up next to each other.
But that's because our game requires that many people at a time.
Yeah. But then there was a Daemon X Machina 2 fucking demo, which was just very like, they're doing a different vibe. It's not like full mecha in this one. It's more like power armor kind of scale. But the gameplay is still Daemon X Machina.
Did you play around with any of the builds in that? Dude, there was so much variety of weapons.
I felt like the pressure of like being looked at by the by the demo staff guy. Um, so I was making like a real like cookie build off the bat, and I found the heaviest set of legs I could find,
Yeah,
which just let me like run melee.
that's fair.
It's good. If you haven't played Daemon Ex Machina, it's
Yeah,
it
the
was
first
on the
one-
Epic Game Store for a while.
The
It's
first one is
good.
good. The first one is good.
I don't know, like if you can't deal with how fast AC6 was, then go play Daemon Ex Machina because it is a little slower paced.
Well, I'm surprised it's not on sale.
Like complimentary.
I'm surprised the first one was
but
not on
yeah,
sale.
I mean, it was free on the Epic Game Store like 2 months ago. I don't know if they
Yeah.
want to.
No, I mean on Steam. I'm surprised they didn't put it on sale.
Yeah.
No, but the whole I will say I wouldn't say I was completely blown away by the event, but I did enjoy the IGN event for what it
Yeah, I mean, it was
was.
fun.
I think just me personally, aside from the panels that we saw, I think I would have liked to have played more of the demos than I did, or just played more of the games that were available.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
unfortunate
since
we
everyone was kind of
tried
spread
to-
around, it was rough. It was hard.
I only got a couple of demos in because we were there for the first day, and then we went out to eat, and then we didn't go back in because at that point like the event
It was
had
already
closed for
over.
the day.
Yeah.
And then I ended up not being able to go to the second round, which is unfortunate. But there weren't too many other things that I wanted to try out. There was like a really strange like tech demo thing for I think it's called How to Pet the Cat, that had like a small couch-sized like fully formed like cat butt.
Yeah, I want to say, chat. It's literally like something like this big. I want to say like, and it was like all covered in fur, and it had like a cat tail that would react.
For our audio only listeners, it's basically the
And-
size of an ottoman.
And you would have to like actually like tap it like the bongos on a fucking from
it
like
was,
the Donkey
It
Konga.
was like pressure sensitive. I didn't get to try it, but it was just like, I don't know why you made this, but thank you for making this extremely strange thing for absolutely no one.
It was weird, but at the same time, it's also intriguing
You
because
got
it
a
was
closer
very
look at it. Was the actual game like running through VR? Because I can imagine
the
being like, here's a physical thing, so you have a better
no,
idea. But
it's not running through VR. Actually, when I was looking at it closely, it's like a fighting game. It's whoever pets the cat better. The bar at the top leans towards one direction or the other,
my question for this is,
or at least when
how-
two people were playing against each other. I didn't see it
how
single
do you
player.
implement this in a non-arcade setting? Because if you need that setup to play the game, which you will
That's-
have to, because
yeah.
it's like
That's
like
the other
flip
thing.
the table arcade game. It's pressure sensitive.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I was like, this would not work at home. Like, you would need like the entire arcade setup or a portable version at home. But I
don't
didn't
know.
see like
It might
the
have
concept.
just been,
I get the
a tech
concept.
demo to get like investor eyes,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and that's the other thing too, chat, about the event. There were a lot of people from the industry there just kind of walking around that you could schmoozy up to like and talk with, whether it was the IGN staff, some of the devs that were there for the games themselves. Some of the people I was talking to, or that I had met the second day, they're like, oh yeah, we're former employees from this company. We're here promoting this games, and then it became more like a networking thing where it's like, oh yeah, if you're interested, reach out to us and let us know. We can see if you can get you in on the demo and all this and that. And then of course, whatever I did record, I got everyone's permission for, because I plan to make a video of some of the
definitely-
stuff, but but yeah, it was definitely, it didn't feel more like, it felt more like
It did
a way
feel
to
more
network.
networking event centric,
Yes.
but then it's like a networking event that has tried to reach out to be bigger than it is, and
Yes. Also,
it
too,
might not
chat,
be there just yet.
I know this is kind of weird because it's not like we've bashed on the console itself. I will say, the Switch 2 did feel nice to play because I did spend a good amount of time on the second day playing as much of the Switch 2 as I could possible with Mario Kart, with Yakuza. It feels great to play. The new Pro Controller felt so much more comfortable than the Pro Controller 1. But I still can't justify getting it though. But at any point, if the chat, like, if you guys feel
$90, it's a hard sell.
If at any point you guys do decide to get the Switch whenever it is readily available for everyone, I will say it is worth to get. Like, it did feel nice to have in hand and see it. The camera and all those other accessories are, I would not justify those. But the console itself with the controller, definitely worthwhile. They definitely felt great to play. I didn't really get any stuttering issues with any of the games that I was playing there. Mario Kart felt wonderful to play, I'll tell you that one. I love the hell out of Mario Kart. The new wall riding mechanics and the grinding in the levels, holy shit, they give a whole new goddamn aspect to the races.
I wasn't able to get the but like Ketchup says, the Switch 2 needs more games before you can really justify the expenditure. My usual go-to is like, hey, you need to spend as much as you would spend on the console on games that are exclusive to the console.
Because I would even say it's, and I'm still on the fence about it. I was like, I may get it in July because then we'll have the Donkey Kong game out, so that way I can switch between Donkey Kong and Mario Kart. But and also at the same time too, you'll have the GameCube on it. But even then, I'm like, I still think I could wait towards the end of the year to get it because there's just not a lot of games. And realistically, the one game that I do want to play isn't even out yet because it doesn't come out till next year, which is Duskbloods.
So to play the devil's advocate here for not being a Switch 2 mark, there's not enough out for the console to justify it. No. The way that they're handling the initial is also really kind of fucked.
Yes.
And I don't know how you can justify the expenditure of, like, you get the console, you get a Pro Controller, and you get a game, and you're spending $880 with tax. Yeah. It's a really hard fucking sell when
Kirby
now you can go and acquire a Steam Deck that will probably run some of that shit better with emulators that are already available. So one thing I do want to highlight, this motherfucker on screen right now, Ian Prolix, whatever the fuck. Splitgate 2 has become the most divisive fucking announcement this whole weekend because this motherfucker walks out striding in like a MAGA-esque fucking make FPS games great again. Bit comes out, walks out on stage, is like, hey man, I grew up playing Halo, so Call of Duty sucks now.
Give us Titanfall 3.
Yeah, we're waiting on Titanfall 3, so in the meantime, come play Splitgate 2 because it tries to be good. And like, I didn't know anything about Splitgate prior to this announcement. Like, I'm standing here looking at this motherfucker. All right, man, that's a vibe.
Yeah, like,
it's not.
Cotter turned to me and he's like, I mean, that's one way to do something, but I don't know about that. Like, you're like 2 steps from cancellation right there.
Because sitting in the crowd, it was really hard to see his stupid fucking hat. So I thought he was just wearing a fucking MAGA hat, and I'm like, this is not the crowd for that, my guy.
Yeah.
Splitgate 2 looks interesting, but I've seen people talk about 1 and how essentially 1 was rug pull, and was only up for a couple of months.
Yeah.
So like to frame your competitive online shooter, like I'm against the thing. It looks interesting enough. It definitely is taking inspiration from a couple of different things.
Yes.
Like you're definitely like even just the way the chests open up looks like Apex inspiration. You've got the portal mechanics and you've got 3D movement that is reminiscent of Titanfall. little bit, like maybe, like just maybe inspired by him, but not
The
like
wall
directly.
rides and stuff like that, yeah, is more Titanfall than it is Apex.
Yeah,
Like
I haven't played a lot of
I
Apex,
guess you could
especially
say
not
the
recently.
versatility of how they move around is more Titanfall.
But the other thing is that like you're launching this game free to play, and that's one way to do your basic marketing. But like like the 3 goddamn DLC quote unquote DLC content packs that you can pay for are $30, $100. I didn't check. Fucking if you're launching a game with $100 macro transaction, because that is not a micro transaction,
Yep.
it's going to be really hard to justify that to people after you shut your first fucking game down after 2 months.
Yeah. Again, it's like one of those games where it's like the first game was the concept, now this is like the full-fledged idea, but even
Yeah,
now
but
I'm
like
just
people
like,
spent money on that first game and they got their shit fucking run like after a
yeah.
couple months. How the fuck are you going to inspire people to actually interact with this thing when you're launching with $100 micro? That I don't fucking get it. I don't get the perspective. I think that the irreverent fucking tone that he came out with to present Splitgate 2 is not a good marketing decision. I think whoever approved that shit really didn't think too hard about it.
Yeah.
And it sucks because it looks like Splitgate has some quality fucking content to it. Like the game looks good, but I just don't think like I feel like everyone's got to kind of wait to see whether or not this is going to be another fucking rug pull.
Of course. However, and then shifting tones from that, this game looks impressive as shit. Given it's another Yakuza game, or the studio
fucking,
behind Stranger Than Heaven.
Stranger Than Heaven, the 1940s Yakuza title.
I didn't realize,
I'm
I don't remember the first time they showed this off. It was supposed to be in 1915 when it was still Project Sentry. That first trailer.
I think they were going like pre World War II, but now that it like they're what is it 43?
Yeah, 1943, mid World War II.
It's a real interesting time to be around Yoko. That's all I'm gonna fucking say.
And that's why I was just like, what the hell? But the game does look good though. I want to play it just because I kind of like the concept of what's going on.
I'm a huge fan of like noir,
Yeah.
just in general. So to take that tone to Yakuza, really interesting switch up.
It's really cool.
Yeah, originally it was going to be set to 1915.
Yeah. When he said that, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's when they first showed it off. It was in that during World War One or pre-World War One. Yo, what's good, dead man? But yeah, so oh yeah. Also, going back to the hands-on with the Switch 2 at the event, seeing Pokemon run correctly, I was like, oh, all it took was a $600 patch.
Was there a Pokemon demo there?
There was.
I've been seeing like side-by-side comparison gifs, and they're like, "Hey, remember this cutscene from inside the classroom with the child who's kicking their legs at 2 frames a second?
Yeah.
Now they run at 30.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?"
And I saw someone make that joke. They're like, "Oh man, it only took a $600 patch to make the games run correctly," and I was like,
"Game run at 30 frames a second."
And I was like, "No shot, dude." I was like, "It's so true though." This reveal. How are you feeling about this reveal?
I think we might have skipped past the original bit. There was
the 30th anniversary.
The 30th anniversary like confirmation
trailer.
with I forget her name, Maggie, the voice actress and model actress for Lady Dimitrescu. Was she presented like a message from one of the heads writing fucking Resident Evil, and they're like, yeah, no, the 30th anniversary is upon us, and by like in a blink of it'll be a blink of an eye before you guys see an RE9 trailer, and we're like, oh man, the announcement for an announcement is a shitty thing. Like I understand the need for it, But because at the end of the day, this is the end of quarter 2, so you kind of have to push hype.
No, it's because he was like, yeah, because the way he set it up, he was just like, oh, please bear with us as we'll have more news soon enough. You know, we'll in the blink of an eye, you'll see more from the newest Resident Evil. But as of now, that's all we can talk about.
Watching this live is like the thought process goes to like, okay, I know that they had to say something or else the investors would have a problem because you'd be ending Q2 without a new release.
Of course.
And Monster Hunter Wilds is not getting any paid aside from the most recent DLC. So I get like the Capcom overlords are like, all right, we gotta make an announcement even if we don't have anything. But then this trailer started, and at first I'm like, is this an Evil Within sequel?
That's what I thought. I was like, this Evil Within? This can't be Evil Within.
Because I don't know, I think it might just be the color palette and the transitions that they're using, but it feels a little Evil Within.
The thing that threw me off was the guy in the hoodie that you see that like flashes in. I was like, that's very Evil Within. But then when you look at the facial structures, I was,
FBI,
but also then looking at like the facial animations and like the facial technology, I was like, but this doesn't seem like that. This is very Capcom-esque. And I was like, but all right, whatever. Didn't think anything of it. So I was sitting here, I was like, what the hell is this?
Also, there was preamble from Jeff saying like, oh, this trailer is from a storied
developer, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, is this the Square Enix thing? No, the Square Enix thing was
then when I saw this, I was like, Jesus, this place has been nuked to all hell. And then, of course, when you see the one shot that like finally revealed it to me,
half of the audience started gasping at that shot.
Right there.
Half of the audience started
that
gasping
shot
at that
right there.
Shot.
Right there, everyone was like, "No way!" Everyone just lost their mind here. Obviously, during the presentation, you can't hear it, but with being at the show, everyone just, "Oh my god!" And then this popped up. RE9 lost it. Everyone just was like, "Holy shit, they did it!" Dad! I was like, "Of course, because he would mean in the blink of an eye."
We were like, "We're not going to hear about RE9 till here," and then 20 minutes later, we have Requiem's fucking trailer play.
We literally hear about RE9, and I was like, "Oh, amazing!"
Oh hey, eagle-eyed fans from that last shot could have seen me and beyond.
And for February, I was like, yo, February? That's 10 months away? No.
Pretty soon.
8 months away.
It's less than 10. Yeah.
I was like, that's 8 months away. I was like, that means they started that immediately after 8. But now I just want to know what the grand... Because the way he described this game it's supposed to be huge. Like, from what he said he saw earlier in the year, he said that game looks big comparatively. Like, so I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, so is it going to be somewhat like of an open world of Raccoon City? Like, all of Raccoon City? Not just
I want to know more about, like, what the narrative branch is here and how we're going to be related. Last couple of games,
I did find out, I guess on the website, I saw a video of it. Someone was reporting on it. Apparently, this takes place 27 years after.
Because the protagonist is Alyssa Ashcroft's daughter, right?
Yeah. So everyone was doing the math. Leon would be 48 at this point, because I forget he was only 21 at the end of events of RE2.
RE2, yeah.
So I was just like, oh god. So if he's 48, that means Chris and all them would be in like their 60s or late 50s. So I'm like, oh, okay, so are they gonna do one of those where they're gonna bring in an aged
speaking of
Leon?
Speaking of RE, that is also on sale. You can get
oh yeah. If you guys haven't picked up
RE 7 and 8 with all of its DLC for $20 right now.
Yeah. If you guys haven't gotten RE at all on Steam, you can get all those games for dirt cheap right now.
So aside from Summer Games Fest, because we did
Leon in RE2 ain't no 21. Yeah, he's technically not supposed to be, but
Nah, he's like fresh out of like the academy. Okay, so every Resident Evil protagonist is like a genius, and they
Yeah,
like
they're like
zipped through school and whatever training they did way faster than any regular human being would have. Um, he is straight up 21 at the start of 2.
yeah, he's 21 in RE2. I remember they when they went to say originally he was like 18 or 19, but they're like in the grand retrospect of things, like if he wanted to be a cop, he would have had to have gone through like the academy and all that first, so he couldn't have been that old. But he's 21 in the games. And then let's see. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, did anything else stand out from you?
Yeah.
In terms of,
from the indie horror games that were mentioned, that I mean, I'm big Resident Evil fan, so the fact that there's another numbered game coming out within a year is fucking insane.
Yeah, that's like one thing I'm already like super looking forward to.
I'm real hyped for it. I might stream a replay of 7 and 8, maybe, potentially. But yeah, there some of the lower key announcements are really where most of my focus was. Like, I'm not sure like there's anything like aside from Resident Evil that's like crazy like pushing for my attention. There are some of the other announcements that were made over the weekend. I know I'm playing the Xbox bit, but like the PlayStation State of Play.
Yes.
The one thing I wanted to mention there is that like I feel like there is a like there's an extra push to be negative about the PlayStation State of Play just in general. Because I went and I watched that presentation with expectations, and we walked out with a fucking remake of Final Fantasy Tactics and a new goddamn Suda51 game.
Yeah.
And
Final Fantasy Tactics like remaster, I absolutely lost my. Like I said, as soon as
anyone pissed off?
As soon as I saw that reveal, I was like, okay, sick. And then when they dropped the collector's edition, I was like, pre-ordered. I immediately just pre-ordered it. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, I'm pre-ordering it right now. I was at work.
Run pre-order?
No, it's straight through Square Enix.
Oh, okay, good. I'll actually buy it then.
It was straight through Square Enix. Like, they're the ones doing this. Also, Deadman, the Capcom sale is going on until June 19th. So, any and all Capcom titles are available for sale. That's Devil May Cry. That's Street Fighter. That's Resident Evil. Monster Hunter. Ace Attorney. The Phoenix Wright games, I should say.
There's a bunch of the arcade stuff, too.
Yeah. So if anyone's interested, check out those. I would just say if you're interested at all on anything that was presented over the weekend, go to Steam, check out all the different because they have a particular tab that says what was it called? The Summer Showcase of Summer Showcases. If you go there, it shows like all the different available things. There's so much.
From the big ones. Aside
there's
from
just
big
so much
stuff like SGF. There's also the led game dev projects. There are the Latin Games Fest,
the Latin American, the Southeast Asian,
dev fest. There is also right now, as of today, Steam Next Fest Summer 2025 is happening. So there are demos for hundreds of upcoming titles. Some of it's schlock, some of it is just like, oh hey, this is a weekend project for me as an individual person. Mm-hmm. And then some of them are like, holy shit, how is this not any of the other announcement shows? Because like there's some stuff of quality up on Next Fest.
Like me and Cryptid here spent a good time last night just looking over all of that, and we were impressed by quite a lot of the titles that were on there. That
there's some recurring titles, so there was some stuff from last Halloween Next Fest that have come back. Some of the things to note about Next Fest demos in particular is that some devs only have their demo up for the Next Fest period. So if you download them ahead of time, make sure you play them before they
they take them
before the
down.
license is revoked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, aside from
the state of play, tactics, obviously. Romeo is a dead man.
Romeo's a dead man. If y'all have not played any of the Grasshopper Manufacturer or one titles, it is tonally pretty similar, but this is a whole new thing, and new Grasshopper game is always a good thing.
And then the other big one, the Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls.
Yes,
those were like my big three, the ones that I would take away from that. Obviously,
Works doing a 4x4 fucking Marvel fighter is bonkers, and I look forward to its release.
I love the aesthetic that they've given all the characters. Like they didn't try to make them look like Marvel versus Capcom.
They tried to make them look like Arc System Works characters.
Yeah, they made them look like Arc System Works characters, and I love the design so far. And I'm excited to see more. I want to see more of the character reveals. Pragmata finally making a return. Was also another big one.
After 5 years of silence, there's another trailer. I don't know how I feel about that. We have to wait until, because I'm sure that has been completely remade from square one 3 or 4 times behind closed doors.
And I guess the final one for me from the state of play would be the Bloodstained sequel, whatever it is.
I almost forgot about that. It's a new Bloodstained game.
Yeah, the new Bloodstained
spin-off. So
yeah,
I'm down for it.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, is it a direct sequel to the first one, or is it supposed to be?
Well, it's not the same characters. Like, there was Curse the Moon, which was a direct prequel, and then Curse the Moon, the sequel, which was weird. But these are at the very least new cast characters.
Yeah, or I guess I should say, is it going to be tied? Is it going to be tied into the first one, or is it its own story? Like,
well, I mean, I'm sure the narrative is related because it's a sequel. But,
yeah. Those are my big takeaways.
That's all that matters. It's an Igavania.
Those are my big takeaways from the state of play.
Relevant distinction is when Iga is behind the wheel, it is better. But yeah, aside from that, there was we had the Xbox showcase playing. There's not anything too mind-blowing here.
For me, the one big takeaway, or the one big standout for me, was Clockwork Revolution from the Xbox showcase.
Yeah, we can probably just skip right to that. They announced the ROG Ally with Steam Deck
the quote unquote the Xbox, the first Xbox handheld, which is it's just a ROG Ally that has the Xbox on it. I really don't.
So it has integrated support for Game Pass, which is kind of a big deal, but it is also like the most expensive version of it only has 20 gigs of RAM. So how well that's going to work,
I have no idea.
It's gonna work a lot. Yeah, we'll just let that play. It's gonna work a lot better than trying to do anything with cloud processing. I can guarantee that, because I did try to make cloud gaming with Game Pass work, and that shit just cloud processing is not something that we have the infrastructure for, and I don't think we ever will, because it requires both up and download capacity that I don't think any service network is capable of providing over Wi-Fi.
Pay lots of money for your own private line to have the best.
Even with that, there's still inherent latency between inputs and what you get on the screen. Like you really, if you're not downloading the game directly to the hardware, if you are processing both the game and inputs back and forth, there will always be some degree of inherent latency. And not to abuse or use the FGC as like but like literally, if your ability to play a game is determined by your ability to read and react to frame data on the measurements of 1/144 fucking 1/144 of a second, then you're not gonna play shit over the cloud effectively. It's not gonna work.
It is true.
But yeah, actually, just to fucking pause there. The basic one is it's got a Ryzen Z2A card and gigs of memory and gigabytes of storage. I don't know if that's going to be enough for anything really. The Z2 Extreme card, 24 gigs of memory and 1 terabyte of storage is kind of becoming this is approaching the baseline of a lot of PC produced games. I don't know if this is a great standing point to launch the upper end version of your console with. We can skip through those.
Oh yeah, Super Meat Boy 3D was announced.
Super Meat Boy 3D. Oh,
that Game Freak game. Yeah, that Game Freak game that was announced. I don't know how anyone feels about this, because when I saw it, I was like, Game Freak, as in like the guys with Pokemon. Is that what?
So, if anything, I kind of want to just watch this trailer because this is what Game Freak presents to, like, convince you to play a non-Pokemon game from them. And I'm just like, this isn't the stream. The frame rate differential is just what the game is. And I understand that Game Freak has an internal dev cycle where every time they put out games are allowed to go forward and make side projects and projects between major Pokemon titles. But like, dog, if your cutscene's running at 20 frames a second, what are you doing? Why is that the version of things you're presenting?
Like, I don't know why. Like, didn't anyone look at that and just said, yeah, run it? Like, how did you think that was a good idea?
Because this is the most consistent a frame rate has been from a Game Freak game. Like, so maybe, I don't know. Is it too crazy to say that maybe the devs over at Game Freak are living in a world that can only be processed at 24 frames a second? Is someone working there with the sincere belief that people can't see past 30 frames a second? Because there are stupid people who, like, fully subscribe to that idea that the human eye cannot process more than 30 frames, which is just not true. The game looks interesting, maybe, but I'm getting like Beast of Reincarnation. I'm getting the same kind of evoked feeling that I got from the original trailers for Forsaken, where the game looks cool and the visual, but that thing launched with shitty writing constantly, always in your ear forever.
This is what I'm excited for.
I hope that it launches and has a consistent 30 frames per second fucking basic frame rate with any degree of processing.
If it's day one on Game Pass, I'll give it a try, but I am not spending money on that game.
Yeah. I don't know, but I feel like it's really hard to be fair with Game Freak because of how shit their general output is. And they will never learn from their mistakes because Pokemon is just the most fiscally successful franchise on the planet.
Yeah.
It's like not allowed to fail, so they're not allowed to make mistakes.
Yeah. Same here, Valkian. This is what my biggest highlight from the showcase. This is Clockwork Revolution.
The Clockwork Revolution is the game that I think everyone who watched the original announcement trailer for BioShock Infinite wanted.
Yeah, it's true. Ooh. Sorry, I need to stand up for a second.
Is this also Obsidian?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Who's the primary dev on this? Because I watched the trailer once yesterday, and then I didn't look into it.
Not exactly sure. I didn't see. It said it at the beginning.
It's in Exile.
It's
okay.
in Exile. That's Excuse me.
I have to look into some of the background details of this because I feel like it evokes a vibe.
Like that's what I was saying. I was like, the way
I feel very familiar with
the way you this beginning portion is. It's like obviously this is your create a character because the guy goes in saying, "Someone mugged me," and the officer's like, "Okay, well, what did he look like?" That's obviously you setting your stats and creating the character who's the main character.
I appreciate interior ludo narrative fucking in media res presentation of your character.
So I was just like, oh, okay, that's a cool way to bring the character to life. So that's what I was saying. I was like, this gives me like some Fallout-esque, like with the skill,
Also,
with the
I
tree,
feel like it was
with
really intentional, but the creative
speech
character that they
options.
made for this is
Uh-huh.
it looks exactly like Dorian from fucking uh Dragon Age Inquisition.
I wouldn't know. Never played it.
I have to see if there are devs in common.
But yeah, so it gives me some Fallout vibes, gives me BioShock Infinite vibes, as well as some Dishonored vibes.
So the go-to term for the style of game is immersive sim, which is the genre subtype that came out of Deus Ex, the original thing. Like Warren Spector called that an immersive sim game as opposed to a narrative FPS or something along those lines. But there are very specific stipulations to what creates an immersive sim, and this looks like it has both the RPG mechanics and essentially if there are ways to tackle particular problems, which the presentation of what the narrative is after the fact really makes it seem like that's the case.
Yeah.
This is probably the first like AAA immersive sim in this decade.
The gun customization.
Or wait, what side of 2020 did Prey come out on?
Wasn't it before?
Because that's the last one I can think of.
Not sure.
If Deus Ex crossed paths with Bioshock, yeah. I mean, Bioshock it kind of skirts the line on like what is an immersive sim because it is a straightforward narrative game. There's a lot of variability in how individual like missions.
This is what I find interesting is how the time mechanic's gonna work.
Rebooted Prey was 2017. Okay, yeah, then yeah, the statement stands. I like immersive sims are good generally. If people debate on whether or not something is inside of that genre, it's usually because it's a quality fucking thing. I like this style of game. I like the vibes that this is evoking. It's doing good time mechanics. I really hope that they don't fuck up the story with it because it's really a narrative with time travel being the crux of your what moves your plot forward.
Yeah. Or I do hope, like, depending on how you play it, yeah, there's multiple time like differences. Like if you kill a certain person, this happens, but if you don't kill them and you go with this person, I do hope there's like multiple paths of like this time play.
It really just evokes like what I thought BioShock Infinite was going to be when that first trailer was announced.
BioShock Infinite played well. The story was good.
I would debate even that.
Well, you didn't like the way it played? I
did until they had 2 DLCs that were like
I never played the DLC
kind of
thing. I literally only played the base game and that was it.
There's no end to that game. They just want.
What the hell?
All right. Well, we're gonna have to close that out.
What in the goddamn?
The Christians are really pushing for you to stop watching porn.
Jesus. What are these ads?
It's fucking, I don't know, man.
What was another one from this presentation?
I mean, there's last trailer in the presentation, which we can just skip right because
there was that one that actually you said you were curious about. I didn't really pay attention to it the first time around. But then when we saw it, there are no ghosts at the Grand.
Right.
You just passed it. You just passed it.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah. Go a little back. It was like right there.
Oh, also the weirdness of the Age of Mythology trailer showing a bunch of fucking Romance of the Three Kingdoms characters and Chinese mythology. And they're like, the new Japanese, that's not what that is. And apparently they're adding a whole bunch of Asian stage mythology.
No, it wasn't here.
The only one that was said out loud was Japan, so it threw me through a loop.
Oh, this is that Mudang game.
I'm gonna be real, I don't even remember watching this trailer.
Yeah, remember we were talking about like what was it that we were comparing this to? This is the one where it's like you're this officer in Korea, and he had the yellow like glowing in his eye at the end of the trailer.
Wait, what?
Yeah, watch. Like we saw it.
Mudang looks fascinating, but it's so confusing. The only Mudang is an angry little hippo.
Yeah. Well, if you skip forward a little, you'll understand. It's the one where it's like people are zombies or something like that. Like, and your office, this guy goes in.
My brain did not record watching this first trailer the first time. I do not have any memory of this.
Yeah, like this is like so weird. Yeah, it's like it looks espionage-esque, but then like all of a sudden it like completely transforms into like I think it has to do with that. Yeah, this thing where like people become all super enraged.
I remember seeing the black substance.
The goop.
I don't know what this is. What the fuck am I thinking of?
Mm-hmm.
Weird mix of MSG and RE. Like, yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I could see that.
Oh, you know what it was? We were thinking of the game that pretended to be an MGS game.
Left Alive. That's right.
Yeah, it looks like Left Alive.
The Square Enix one, and we all know how that one went for them.
You cue the Mudang Chibidoki sound that I didn't set up.
And I think I know I saw you like scroll over. There are no ghosts at the Grand, like somewhere right here. It's before this. It's before this. Yeah. Right. Was it before Age of Mythology? Yeah, I was right there.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. Oh yeah, there was this fucking thing.
Kronos?
I have no strong opinions about Aphelion. Aphelion looks like they wrote a really dramatic script and then they made a really goofy fucking looking visual to go with it. It's really tonally dissonant to me.
Yeah, this next one though.
It looks like Uncharted in Space. It looks like Uncharted in Space as presented by PBS.
Yeah. This game though definitely didn't catch my eye the first time I saw the showcase because I guess I didn't pay attention. But when we were watching this last night, the second go around, I was like, "Oh yeah," because then Connor started explaining like some whole thematics behind some of this, and I was like, "Oh yeah," and it looked actually pretty interesting.
I dig the vibe of it, like the reconstructive, like the internal magic of just being within a space.
Mr. Handyman,
I'm trying not to. It's a weird vibe, but like I kind of dig it.
Yeah.
It is definitely like in the same like aspect as Viscera Cleanup Detail almost, but with a little more story.
Yeah. It's like you're resetting the area to the past.
It's like you're using the Half-Life move shit around gun to make your neighborhood better.
Right. The musical
aspect of the game is odd but fitting. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's some thematic notes that I kind of want to hold back on until like I actually play the thing. It's interesting.
The kitty cat obviously had to be a big fucking player.
I mean, you're gonna put a skull face on a cat, and you don't think that's the main character? Of course,
yes,
that's the main character.
Yeah, this is where I was just like, what? And
it's
hell?
Like it suddenly turns Eldritch, is where like I did not.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was gonna be some like comfy cozy game. All of a sudden, it just goes haywire, and I was like, what the hell happened? That game does look interesting though.
Cozy Eldritch is a vibe that I dig so fucking much that I don't like.
And then
I don't know why there's not more of it.
I mean, obviously another big one was the P4R reveal, but
That is coming
that
up.
was
So
that was such a like.
I can just air my grievances about the P4R reveal. If you can even that.
That was such a just a
This is the Age of
shitty
Mythology thing. We can skip the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
If you like Age of Empires, I applaud you for your patience. I don't.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
What? That's the Fallout 76. Yeah, the Fallout 76 DLC where you get to fish and farm more effectively.
World premiere. That's the solo leveling.
I feel like we can skip the solo leveling thing because here's every thought I've. It's not good, and I feel like the fact that it's gotten as much industry push is a fucking psyop because Sony owns everything now. And I don't know if they just got a really, really good deal on the production of that anime, but fucking I don't know how that won Anime of the Year the same year and came out. This is bullshit. The story's like I don't want to sing the praises of Sword Art Online ever, but it is just Kirito again, but worse. It's like if Kirito's character was not tempered by other main characters.
I got nothing. I never watched, I never read any of Solo Leveling, so...
You're better off.
I got nothing on it. Don't care for it.
And the thing that sucks is like the idea has been done better by other like smaller scale series. It's just that this is the one that got the push. This is the one that had
what did piss me off though is that this won Anime of the Year over Frieren for Crunchyroll, and I was like, I don't care how good
I was saying that
Solo Leveling may be.
Frieren and fucking Dungeon Meshi came out. You're gonna tell me that Solo Leveling was the Anime of the Year? Get the fuck out of here!
I was like, there's no way. I was like, I don't care how good the animation, because that's all I ever hear from everyone is the animation.
Crunchyroll awards, more like Crunchy rigged awards.
And I was like, but Frieren, I guarantee hands down is always a better story, regardless.
The one thing I will say about the Solo Leveling game is that the narrative really does kind of play into gameplay more than anything. Not in like the Ludo narrative sense, because the Ludo narrative sense is that this guy doesn't understand what the games are. Everything is presented to him like it's a mobile game daily fucking quest, which extremely like just grosses me out as someone who's seen this done better, because this is the one that got popular, really. But maybe the game will actually be fucking fun if the game is good. Maybe you can just skip all the cutscenes and ignore all the cringe if you just do basic ass fucking dungeon crawl third-person action game. There's potential for that game to be good. I just think that the source material is bullshit.
All I know is that game is a mobile game technically already. Solo Leveling Arise is already a mobile game.
Inside its own narrative, Solo Leveling is presented as a mobile game.
Jesus. And then here we have what was it called? Amimo or something like that? Animo.
Pal World.
Animo. Animo is what it's called. Yeah, this is just another Power World.
Do you think that Nintendo won't sue them because this one doesn't have any guns or drugs or slavery in it?
No,
or do you think that the legal department is really just gonna fucking go after
There's still weapons. There's still weapons. Maybe not guns.
You're not having your Pikachu stand-in make an AK-47 to power through the night.
I'm just saying that's the best aspect of that game.
Or the ball throwing mechanic Nintendo apparently patented. Yeah,
Or the fucking mount mechanic that Nintendo apparently fucking patented.
They did not patent that. There were other games where you ride monsters.
Yeah, of course. They tried to, and I was like, wow, Power World really had to get rid of that too. Just because.
Also, the most shocking part of the Xbox presentation was how fucking old Tony Hawk is, man. I feel like they put him in old age makeup for this.
Like they put him in prosthetics for this.
This lighting is not complimentary. He doesn't look this bad in person.
Man,
still go. He's a grandfather now. I mean, he is, but like I was having this conversation with Beyond where it's like I can't let my perspective of Tony Hawk be that he's this old, because if he's this old, I'm old. We are all old because Tony Hawk, the man who is eternally 27,
Yeah.
is now like 60 something.
He's getting up there.
And if he's getting up there, that means we're getting up there. And time is horrendous.
I mean, yeah. Outside of like what we already mentioned, I don't have anything else left to talk about in terms of what really like stood out to me over the weekend.
We didn't actually talk about the Persona thing.
Right.
Yeah, I skipped over it instantly because it was a 20-second trailer.
Gears of War, obviously coming.
So Persona 4 remake again is a problem because Persona 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. It's the game that really, like, I played P3, but I didn't like hook back into the rest of the Persona games and by extension until I replayed 4 and then replayed Golden.
Yeah.
So the fact that this is being presented the way it is, that everything is like super saturated, is like when the color scheme of a game that is established by its aesthetic, as the rest of the modern Persona series is, especially with the dog commercials that come in right then and there. That's crazy.
Do you remember? Every day's a good day at Junes. That's what that dog commercial's for.
Every day is great at your Junes. Thank you. So the fact that everything is like so much brighter. This is the entire trailer, by the way. You have like 5 seconds of a walk cycle
from 2 different angles.
From an angle and a half. Like that is how quickly it's circling through this shit.
It goes from behind to front.
Has an aesthetic that is relevant to its narrative. Things are fuzzier and more like drained because the ongoing like weather situation is tied into the narrative. I am not going spoilers because I think that legitimately Persona 4 Golden is the best game to get people into JRPGs, short of major Final Fantasy. But again, I think that's a difference of tone and taste, because it's way easier to get people into something that takes place within the context of the then expands into magical realism. Persona 4 has already been remade. Persona 4 Golden exists. Persona 4 Golden exists on Steam, available now, available to purchase and play. It's $20 fucking dollars. It is a PlayStation Vita game. The game is like, so Persona 5 has had problems with Royal spoilers, and the Persona 3 Reload has presented some things that I think are not as good as Persona 3 FS, but there are so many iterations of Persona 3 that it's really hard to lean on one in particular as the correct consumption of that game, because there was the original Persona 3 FES, which added the answer at the end. Then there was Persona 3 Portable, which integrated a new story which they did not bring back for Persona 3 Reload. And then there's Persona 3 Reload, which has added a new storyline that falls at a pivotal point that is spoiler heavy, so I'm not going to go into it. Persona 3 is a minefield all its own. It did need a remake because it was hard to play that game. Just from a quality of life standard of how the gameplay actually played out. It needed a remake. Persona 4 Golden does not really. Persona 4 Golden is fine. It did not need a remake. The other point B on this is that Atlus has been milking the absolute fuck out of the last 3 Persona games for the last decade. It has been a decade since the announcement of Persona 5. We need a new fucking Persona game.
Yep.
That's the long and short of it. We need a new fucking game, because the number of spin-offs and remakes, and now this is a second remake. Like, bringing it to a new platform would be one thing. This thing exists already.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a little goddamn tired of just remake after remake after remake. I'm like, this literally tells me you guys have
the other game that I played at the IGN thing was the Raito Kuzunoha and the Soulless Army.
That's a remaster, not a remake.
That's a game that's really difficult to find and play.
That game getting a remaster like Tactics, like, okay, see, this is the difference. Tactics remastered and Raito deserve their remasters because it's hard to come by.
Quality of life features and
on a PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
like one's locked behind a PlayStation 2. Tactics, depending on which version you're playing, can go one of two ways. Tactics on PlayStation played wonderfully. Story translated garbagely. Tactics on PSP, story translated beautifully and correctly, played like garbage because they took out a lot of the features from the PlayStation. So this remaster,
really low effort localization.
So the remaster takes the gameplay of the PlayStation with the story translation of the PSP, mashes it together to give you this enhanced version with the voice acting. I'm like,
try to find a copy of Raito Kuzunoha.
Exactly. Try to find a copy for dirt.
$80 on eBay.
So
and
seeing
a console to play it.
Those get remastered, understandable, and I would justify.
Also, there are legitimate
but a remake
quality of life features being implemented in those remakes.
Of course, but these remakes, I'm just getting tired of it because I'm like, this literally tells me you guys have no other ideas, so you're just gonna rehash your old games.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
No, that's how I feel. That's personally how I feel. They just have no other ideas.
You can feel that way.
And
but
I'm
again,
like, I'm totally over
that's
it.
The case.
Like, that's why when I saw this,
exists.
I
think they're fed up with the Persona series as well.
But that's why I'm saying, like, that's a good idea. Like, they came out with a brand new IP, was successful with it. Me seeing P4R, I was like, why? And your fucking reveal trailer was fucking ass. I have no hype for it. Had that been a preview for P6, I would have been like, okay, here now we're talking. But P4R, what the fuck do I care? I was like, I have no care to play this
I need to say
whatsoever.
About Persona 4, aside from the fact that yes, the fucking trailer was nothing. It was 5 seconds of a walking cycle in a really so the fog and the fuzzy dreamlike aspect of the town that Persona 4 takes place in is important to the narrative. So by increasing the ray tracing level of reflective surfaces and you're saturating the everything, that kind of shows that the people who are pushing this do not give a fuck about the literal narrative of Persona 4 specifically. Oh, shit. I went back. But yeah, so the other problem with Persona 4 specifically is in the depiction of specific characters. Because Persona 4's narrative have aged kind of poorly depending on what degree of media literacy you have. Because people who do not think about what the media they're consuming is, what time frame it came out in, the ultimate narrative of who or what or when or where or why of it all, and they're just like, I want this version of events to be true, I want my interpretation of this character to be the legitimate one. Those kind of people are there is online referred to as the Persona 4 problem, which is the depiction of both Kanji Tatsumi and his narrative, as well as Naoto.
Do you think Naoto will be in this? Do you think they're gonna go based off of base P4 or P4?
Naoto's a fucking character, dog.
No, I'm just asking. In general, do you think they're gonna go based off the remake of base P4 or P4 Golden?
I don't know. That's the thing. There are technically 3 storylines that they could pick from because the Persona 4 anime does make some slight changes. So the problem is that there are definitely there are jokes and there are bits that are played throughout Persona 4 that are of the time, but by today's standards would be considered problematic or some of them even there are greater plot details with specific characters that are definitely like debated over, but like it's an argument that's presented so insincerely that from my perspective, I don't want to have this fucking conversation again because it sucks to have.
Well,
Like Kanji Tatsumi is one of my favorite fucking characters. And when people talk about his storyline, the way that they talk about it, it's not only like by erasure, it's just straight up like an incorrect summation of his character. And to a lesser extent, the same is presented with Naoto because of the way that they are presented at first. People like to ascribe things that they resonate with to characters, regardless of whether or not attention. And for some people, that's a coping mechanism, and more to you. But on the other half of it, no, this character is telling a story in a very specific time frame, in a very specific place. And if you're not willing to put yourself into the shoes of that perspective, then you don't really have the right to make that commentary. But that's just me going into like, here is potentially a problem again. If they do go through and touch up the script, I'm really worried because I don't think that the fucking localization teams of now are going to respect the source material enough to represent those characters and their stories the way that they should be. I feel like if they do address it at all, it's going to massively change the story and fuck up. And I feel if they don't address it at all, it's going to get a whole bunch of flack it doesn't deserve by people with zero media literacy.
Yeah. It's a safe assumption.
I feel passionately about it because this is your games and people are fucking stupid. And again, I have to dance around the actual problems because they're so fucking in depth to the narrative of the overall story. And Persona 4, like long and short of it, is a whodunit. It is a fucking murder mystery. If you talk about the fucking spoiler bit, if you talk about how things are in that manner, you fuck up the whole storyline. So if you haven't played Persona 4, I would recommend you go and download Persona 4 Golden. If you want 100% it and be a lunatic like I am, the game takes about 90 to 110 hours to 100%. If you want to play it like a regular person and just not worry about it, it'll take like 50 to 60 hours. It is a standard JRPG.
Yeah, of course. But
yeah, Valkyne, I would recommend checking it out before the remake comes out because it's gonna bring the problems back, and then people will not respect the fact that some people want to actually know what the story is for themselves and not get spoiled about it by people bitching on Twitter.
Not fair. But I think that concludes this episode, though. I think we talked about everything.
We did kind of roll a little heavier. I don't know if there was anything.
There's not much else really from Xbox that, for me personally, stood out.
If anything, I think, like, talking about the... God damn it. This is at least an ad for a game that was in this presentation.
This is
if anything, the Call of Duty premiere should be talked about because of how fucking jarring it is. I don't care about Call of Duty. I haven't since Black Ops 1, which is when I stopped playing it, even semi-regularly. I don't know where the Call of Duty narrative is. This trailer fucked me up because I did not know it was a Call of Duty trailer. And looking at this looks like a Remedy game. This looks like an Alan Wake-ish, fucking Control-ish, like, vibe for maybe a little more FPS leaning, maybe a little more. But this...
I would have never guessed Call of Duty.
And then you got photorealistic guy from This Is Us, actor man whose name...
Yeah, I was thinking either it's going to be a brand new IP or an IP we hadn't seen in a while.
It made me almost think of Quantum Break. That is also Remedy. So yeah, this feels like a Remedy game. What the fuck is Call of Duty doing in the Remedy sphere of narrative presentation?
Yeah, and then we when you get the big reveal, like right when I saw the or heard it, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "This is Black Ops again."
So I stopped paying attention. You told me yesterday that the character that's there is Mason's son.
Yeah.
And this is like 30 years later or some shit.
I honestly don't even know when and where it's supposed to take place in terms of the time frame, because he says his name, David Mason, I believe is what it was. And I'm like, how is he still being haunted by his dad's killer from the 60s?
This doesn't look like a Call of Duty.
And this
like
yeah,
fucking
this I was like,
supernatural psychosis.
Where are we going?
Like
with
some cyberpunk shit, my dude. Like
I was invested. I'm not gonna lie, I was invested with all of this up until I saw him talking to Menendez. Right when I saw Menendez, I was like,
again, I forgot who Menendez was.
He's the main bad guy in Black Ops 1, yeah.
I know. But I'm like, I forgot who these characters were because I haven't played fucking Black Ops since, like, you know, a couple months after its original release.
This room right here, I was like, this is very reminiscent to Black Ops when they have Mason locked up. And
but this looks like a fucking, like, a game inspired by Control.
Yeah. And then, yeah, right here, it's like you hear him talking, and he's like, that's Menendez right there, talking to him, and he mentions something, and I was like, there's no way that they're doing Black Ops. And then this kicked in.
Transition happens, and I'm like, what the fuck is this game?
I was like, if I get some stupid bullshit quantum time travel in this Call of Duty, for sure I'll be like,
I have a fucking question.
Like, I don't know where they're going with this.
I don't remember there being a Black Ops 6. Is that a thing?
Black Ops 6 was the last Black Ops that came out.
Well, that one would assume from Call of Duty Black Ops 7 that the previous game
it was the one. It was the one that came out last year. That Call of Duty that came out last year. This is why
completely unaware of.
That's why I told you I was like. That's why I told you I was like, that's so weird that they did the Black Ops back to back and not Black Ops and then whatever.
The last one that I was aware of was Black Ops 3.
Yeah,
like this is how little of a shit about Call of Duty I give. But fucking, like, it's just such a weird perspective to
yeah. First off, like, let's just let that sink in. We're on Black Ops 7 now. Do we really need that many games to tell the same goddamn story of the same people? Like,
well, I mean, that's the thing. It's supposed to be a news story, hypothetically.
Like, I don't.
Last second of the trailer is the zombies bit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not gonna buy it.
Because of course, that's the other bit that anyone ever cares about is zombies.
But I don't understand what they're trying to do, because if this is going to be a traditional Call of Duty game, who is this for? Like that kind of narrative depth or that kind of like narrative presentation within an environment is not something that you would expect from Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just going to alienate audiences that they have, and then also like not actually bring in anyone, because the second that they look at that trailer and then they see the fucking Call of Duty logo, they fucking slap their heads and they're like, why did I just waste 4 minutes watching this thing that could have been cool if it wasn't Call of Duty?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, seeing that trailer at the beginning, I was like, oh, okay. New IP? Okay. I'll and then once I started seeing the signs, I was like, I got the Call of Duty. Get the fuck out of here. I was like, get out of here.
We gotta listen to Jeff and fucking stop giving a shit about AAA publishers and stop watching this shit and just go through Steam Next Fest. And, you know, for every 21 asset flip games made by some kid over the weekend, there is 1 or 2 games that actually look pretty cool. So it's worth shifting through the slop to find the diamonds in the rough.
It's true. That's for sure. There are a lot of worthwhile games.
I'm doing my part, y'all. If I have, and I've been doing more of them than anything else lately, but I have my demo reel bit where I go through and I play demos. If y'all want to hang out for that, just I usually mention it in Discord on both Beyond's Discord and my own. But yeah, new Next Fest, new demos. There's some stuff that looks pretty fucking cool.
We definitely checked out a good amount last night.
Yeah.
I
only sorted through. We only sorted stuff, not even Steam Next Fest specifically.
No, yeah, we were just looking at whatever was already there. We didn't get to look at the Next Fest stuff because it hadn't technically started.
So, just to sum up, just in summation, what are you most looking forward to? What do you think was successful? What do you think was a miss for this?
Personally, I'm looking forward to Clockwork Revolution. What Xbox showed from there, that's the one that stood out to me the most there.
Fair.
From the state of play, obviously Tactics Remastered. But aside from that, then I have Romeo is a Dead Man. Because you just gotta love Suda51 and Grasshopper. Their games are always amazing and quirky, so they always bring something fresh. The Ill is definitely another big one on my list from Summer Games Fest that stood out to me. I want to see more of it. I need to see more of the gameplay for sure before I fully
have an
commit.
opinion on it until I see what active gameplay looks like.
Yeah, I need to see full active gameplay, like in engine. Like I need to see something. That trailer looks like it mixes a blend of the cinematic with some gameplay, so it's kind of hard to get a vibe for what the gameplay is gonna be because it all looks staged. Mortal Shell 2
looks like this is the cut for the trailer.
Yeah, Mortal Shell 2 was also another one that stood out for me. And I think I'd want to say those would be like my big top 5. I mean, there are other ones that I was interested in, but those are the ones that really like I was like grasped with like by right away that I needed to like I want to see more of to get into.
I get that. I think on my end, again, while very critical of what will be happening with Persona 4, I am interested in seeing what happens with Persona 4 redone, whatever the fucking subtitle is.
Revival.
If you say so.
Redone, he says. Redone.
This is the second remake.
This man said redone.
I get to be an asshole about it because I played through every fucking Persona game.
The redo.
Redux. But no, Fractured Blooms really caught my attention.
Persona 4 Redux Part 2.
I don't even want it. It's fucking the DLC where they bring back Marie from Golden and she has her own fucking storyline. Anyway, Fractured Bloom looks really good. I enjoy psychological horror, and it's also a like game, so that's the best kind of strange that I really appreciate the tonal dissonance, how it that syncs up. I think were I to pick things that presented
End
Requiem,
of Abyss.
Definitely 100%. Resident Evil Requiem.
Yes. Oh, that goes without saying.
It's a new Resident Evil game. I'm actually kind of hyped. The Hollower that I've been looking forward. I was a really big really big Shovel Knight fan. Like
Mina
from
the
Hollower? Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So seeing it do another game is good.
Yeah.
Trying to think of like what there's a bunch of like indie horror creepy spooky game, you know, like a number of them.
End of Abyss is another one that stood out.
Yeah.
End of Abyss.
End of Abyss.
Yeah, End of Abyss is the one that really stood out to me on that front. The Cube, I will say, caught my eye more than Atomic Heart.
I haven't played Atomic Heart since it launched. If
I never
the
played
game
it.
feels better to play, I would like maybe they updated it to not be as shit. I would enjoy playing that.
Oh, obviously we can't forget about Felt That Boxing. Obviously that one was just one that really surprised everyone.
I don't know how to feel about that game because it evokes such a visceral, like, what the fuck even is this reaction in me.
Yeah.
It's the uncanny valley thing, man. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, it's funny. The fact that it exists is great, but it's also just like, I don't know, like, how deep that rabbit hole is gonna go. I just hope it comes out and meets expectation of whatever the fuck it is, because
I just hope it's fun. Like, at the end of the day, like, I hope it doesn't take.
Because if I had $1 for every fucking quirky game we saw that never actually even came out, then that would, that would fund our own game dev studio. I wanna give Atomic Heart a chance, because 2 looks like it at least runs well.
But I also Heaven, that's another good one.
Stranger Than Heaven is like, I feel weird even having to say it, because it's just so like innate of like, oh hey, yeah, Kotaku fucking studio game, yes, 100%, we're there. It's a given.
Yeah.
Fucking. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to Clockwork. I want to get my hands on it so that I know that it is meeting the expectations I just internally have.
I think that's the only thing that I really like about the Xbox right now, or like obviously Xbox showcase, is that most of the titles they announced, all of them were gonna be day one drops. It's like, oh, I have nothing to lose if I have a Game Pass. I can just try it. If I like it, I like it. Then I get to just keep playing. If I don't, oh well. And then that's it.
So again, if Microsoft would ever like to send me a check for all the retroactive shilling I've done for Game Pass, because Beyond was vehemently against Game Pass when I first told him about stuff, and then he did thing, and then he's like, "Oh hey man, Game Pass is pretty good."
Well, I didn't have a way to use it.
Oh yeah,
that's
that
why.
Invincible game was the thing.
Yeah, actually, I just
don't know
remembered.
how to feel about it, mostly because I just am kind of meh on Invincible.
I mean, I have a feeling it's gonna be good. I just don't think it's gonna be as big as some other fighting games, because you got the ex devs of Killer Instinct, and I'm talking about Iron Galaxy, I think.
Yeah,
Iron Galaxy, the original guys who did Killer Instinct 2013.
Well, yeah,
they're the ones,
original remake of Killer Instinct for sure.
They're the ones who are developing that game. So I'm like, okay, you already know they're going to have the love and care for that game. Whether they get the backing for it is going to be different, but it's off to a good start.
Is Seth Killian involved in it at all?
No. Oh, no, Double Helix. So Double Helix did it. Iron Galaxy took over.
Yeah,
Double
Iron
Helix
Galaxy
was the first. Yeah, Double Helix is the one that got bought out by Amazon, and then they took it over. No, Seth Killian, I think, is... I don't know if he's working closely with Capcom anymore, but that's where he was at. I think he's just kind of doing his own thing. I don't know if he's working with anyone in particular.
He was involved in the original stuff for...
Oh, he was involved in quite a lot. Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been keeping track of where his career went.
So yeah, like Invincible versus looks dope. Tokon, I mean Marvel Tokon, obviously we already mentioned.
Yeah, I mean along the lines of fighting games.
For like, fighting games,
you got Arxis doing Marvel, so I'm hyped for it. I know that some people are kind of salt about it, which is just fucking weird to me, because after Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which I know. Going to acknowledge that Disney and executive production is the reason that MVC Infinite looked shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the gameplay was always good. The systems within MVC Infinite were great and had been. It just, the game looked like ass because they wanted to push a very particular style for the upcoming and the
roster
shit.
The roster that was just lacking the staple characters. Which, so, you know what's funny?
Yeah.
Hearing, like, talking about roster, I have a feeling the Arxis game isn't going to use staple characters as most people are going to expect.
No, they've got Marvel as the first fucking person on screen.
But I don't think that's a bad thing. because that's definitely going to make them stand out even more
So
from
that's
Marvel
what I was
vs.
going to say
Capcom.
is that ArcSys is all about their style, so they could give a fuck less about whatever notes the Disney quote-unquote Marvel rep is going to have. Although, like from the interview that came out with the State of Play bit, it really seems like, hey, we know that our meddling fucked this shit up last time, so we're just gonna give it to ArcSys because they know what they're doing, and ArcSys knows what they're doing.
So I'm excited to see who they're gonna reveal, like what quirky characters they're gonna have that you wouldn't expect, and maybe what some of the hard-hitting characters that you do expect to be in.
Finally bring Shumagorath back.
Exactly. So here we go. Give me Jeff the Land Shark as a playable character. As in a fighter, I'm in.
I feel like we have enough Jeff the Land Shark.
No.
But...
we never have enough. No, I think I would like to see characters like outside of the because I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, don't do Hulk, do She-Hulk. Okay. That's fair. Yeah.
If only there was a good She-Hulk property out.
I would say like Colossus would be another good character because we haven't seen him in a long while, as opposed to having like a Juggernaut. Seeing Doctor Doom already, I was like, holy fuck.
Was there any rep for the X-Men? I don't remember.
Storm was already in the game.
Okay. Storm's there, so the integration of X-Men characters is kind of a given.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be some.
Especially with how successful X-Men...
I see Daredevil being a character because he's technically already in the background of one of the stages.
As long as they keep it to Daredevil, I'm not a fan of a lot of the Defenders characters functionally. Like I don't see them really having a place in that game. But
Iron Fist could.
I don't want Iron Fist in that game.
Is it because of the Marvel Rivals trauma? Is that why?
No, it's because Iron Fist is a fucking boring character. I'll say it. I'll paint that target on my back. Iron Fist and Iron Fist's goddamn storylines are so fucking boring.
I mean, that's fair.
No. Also, I don't like his iteration in Marvel Rivals, obviously. That may have soured my opinion on him even more.
Well, that's because that's the new Iron Fist. That's not Daniel Rand Iron Fist.
I don't know. I feel like that most recent show, that Netflix show, really was like a weird degree of cultural appropriation, kind of pushed as like the underlying tone that fucking thing was about was weird.
I mean,
not a good vibe.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, technically, Daniel Rand is a white guy who learns and he does become the Iron Fist. That is true to the story of Iron Fist. I know,
but like the way that they presented certain characters.
Yeah. I would want. I like that they went with Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, actually, and not Johnny Blaze. I like that they're doing the modern take on him.
I haven't seen as much of the modern Ghost Rider stuff, but like the design looks interesting, so that's something.
He drives a. I forgot what car he drives, but he doesn't ride a motorcycle like Johnny Blaze. Like they made him his own character. Like he stands out for sure.
Yeah, fair enough. There's a lot of Grounded on screen. Did you play Grounded at all?
No. I saw it, but I never saw any interest in it. I think that pretty much covers everything that we got to see and do over the weekend, or in what our impressions were.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be more to come, but
yes, of course,
this is the death throw of E3 weekend.
Oh yeah.
So everybody had to get their stuff out before the start of Q3.
Of course.
Like that's the downside. Like I hate to be that guy, but fucking like I can't separate the awareness of the industry from anything anymore. So like I understand that this is a big dick showing contest for stockholders, and that's really it.
Yeah.
So like that's why I'm so like focused on looking at the indie shit You know, the indie like the thing I will compliment Summer Games Fest on is that Jeff does go out of his way to present opportunities for and the greater thing. I know that Jeff Keighley is not the entirety of what creates Summer Games Fest. He's just the host and the guy behind the original show concept, but there's a big team that goes into like deciding who is going to get a trailer and how expensive that is going to be and who they decide to platform, without having to charge that, right? Because it's fucking expensive to get a trailer at any of these shows, but primarily if you're not at a first party show, where your trailer is being presented by a first party, SGF is really like kind of insane. Like, it's not Super Bowl numbers, and we had this conversation, but it's definitely not. This is a percentage of the marketing budget. So when the show decides to give the opportunity to smaller devs to be able to present their ideas, like seeing like what indie stuff is so inspired that it gets platformed is really interesting. And that's where my focus kind of lies, and that's why I have gone so hard on pushing, like, looking into the demos of Steam Next Fest, because there's so much from indie devs and small creators, small teams, and individual creators, and the people who don't have that have a quality of product that is just fucking like. That child has a face on the back of his head. I'm sorry, that this trailer is jarring. But yeah, no. So my focus is definitely more on the indie scene, and small devs. I to give them the shot that they otherwise wouldn't have, because it's really like, it really is tough. You have to grind your way through all of the chaff before you can find something, but it is worth looking through all of these things that are platformed this weekend.
And even Jeff said it himself. He's like, there's so much out there. He's like, the number one thing now is exposure, and he's like, and that's the purpose of this show, like, and everything going forward.
The biggest points of success on the highest selling ratings chart are individually produced games made by small teams outside of the regular AAA production circuit. It really is like looking towards small teams and we've had this conversation about Expedition 33, and like, it is not like the myth of like, oh, it's a team of 30 people. There's definitely more.
There's more.
The dev.
The core.
Than just the dev
core
team.
Yeah, the core.
The core team is very small, and only several members from those core teams were from those AAA dev studios
from Ubisoft.
That's where that. So not diving into the mythos of like grandstanding a success as more than what it was, which is a deserved response to really well done work. But Expedition 33 is a really good like point of like, this thing would not exist in the AAA sphere.
Yeah,
we need to look outside of the AAA sphere for quality product, because
absolutely,
at the end of the day, the fucking endless perpetual growth system has destroyed this industry, and we need to look elsewhere, and we need to support the efforts being made by those smaller teams.
And which is why,
even if it's just wish listing a thing that you don't know, like the first
that goes a long way for
game
them.
on Steam, it goes a long fucking way.
It goes a long way for these companies, and that's why I always commend Jeff and the team that he does all of this every year to give said companies a chance, because sometimes there's so much coming out that it will get buried, and I mean buried within all this other schlock that comes out, that some really good games get passed up for years. So this is why I always, we discussed this too, like, right now I've been on the whole thing that I prefer indie over AAA any day of the week now. I have a better time with indie games than AAA.
And it's not like the inherent truth of like, oh, this wasn't made by a AAA studio, so it will be good, or this was made by a AAA studio, so it will be bad. But while there is no ethical capital, we do need to be aware has gone into the product that we buy. How many people, have worked unfair, unpaid, ungarnished waged hours to fucking produce a thing that is really just a tool to exploit even more money out of it. It's not always the case, but like being a media literacy is really important.
Oh yes.
I would recommend you look into the production of anything.
Of course, of course.
It's just the responsible choice of being a modern consumer. There is no ethical consumption of capital, but you need to make sure that you're not indulging extremely unethical practices.
Yo, what's good, Raven? I like playing retro games as like remasters. I've been hooked on Hitman Blood Money HD. See, yeah, that's perfectly fine.
For a while.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I tend to go back and play older games because I'm like, man, I haven't played these in a while. And then I always get the sense where I'm like, when I've played something from my childhood, even like older JRPGs that I haven't seen in a while, it's why like a game like Expedition 33 that came out with like, there was this breath of fresh air. Because as you guys have seen how much I've been spewing about it and how like I ooze all over that game.
You're cutting out a bit on my end.
Genuinely, not on my end. It generally just gives me that old sensation I had as a kid where I genuinely just enjoyed it all the way through. Because sometimes there are games where I play nowadays where I'm like, I'll enjoy it for a little bit and then drop them immediately. Because they just don't keep my attention like they used to.
Alrighty, and on the note of the Xbox Showcase, thank y'all for hanging out for yet another episode of Up Two Minds. This one was a little seasonally kind of focused, but we do have a couple more in the the pipeline.
We do, we do have another one
that will be a little less time sensitive and a little more like just kind of broader strokes. But yeah, I think
thanks for everyone that came out to enjoy us and enjoy our spiel as usual. We love all the love and support, and we love that you guys are here to support that. And we always love hearing back from you guys on however we
so
did
if you
on
have
these.
an idea for a topic or anything that you think you'd like to hear us kvetch horrendously about hours on end, let us know in either beyond my Discord.
If you guys have ideas, feel free to give us some suggestions and we can mull that over and we'll see if we can work it out. Just to make these a bit more often as we can.
Yeah.
That's my Discord. I think he just linked yours as well.
Yep. But yeah, feel free to hop in there. We also host the VODs over both of our channels if you want to see perspective. This one's going to take a little more editing. Thanks, OBS. But
I think I'm just going to cut this into 2 parts, to be honest.
Okay. I might do. It's still going to require some editing.
Yeah.
But yeah, if y'all head over there, we've also got each of our. Do you have your YouTube link? I command up, but we have my VOD.
I have my socials. Whoops.
Beyond's got his YouTube backlog as well, so the VODs for each of these should be going up on there relatively soon.
Yeah, these are all my socials here. My YouTube one's at the very top. I think I need to update this too, because it doesn't match the one that automatic.
It's not showing up on my end, but it's fine. Oh, yeah, no, the Stream Elements commands are only visible in our respective channels.
Yeah.
So if you head over to Damfi Encrypted, there's a link for that Discord. Yeah, so with that in mind, do you want to call it there? Or is there anything?
No, that's it. I was planning on calling it there for the night. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do much else because I got work tomorrow, and it's a bit too late to try to do anything for myself. if you're gonna try any of the demos and stuff like that, I'll rate into you.
I'm gonna hold off, but tomorrow I'm gonna do another Demonstrables. That's the show over on Damn Fine Cryptid where I play game demos. It is Next Fest. This is the season where new demos. There's maybe 300 gigabytes of demo installs on my fucking hard drive. We need to clear some of that out.
Yes.
But yeah, so I'll be doing that tomorrow, most likely. And maybe
fair.
There is a poll over in the Damn Fine Discord on what the next game we play is. So depending on the results of that, we might be doing. Looks like either Hades 2 or might get started on the Voice of Cards trilogy, which I've been meaning to get to for a while.
Hell yeah. Definitely be there for that. Dude, the music for Voice of Cards, I forgot how great it was.
Yoko Taro game.
I know.
It's kind of a given at that point.
Also, Valken, appreciate you being here. I didn't miss your comment. I just forgot to say it. Yeah, I know. I as soon as I heard what he said about the Deadpool thing, or was like, oh yeah, push away that Silk, I immediately thought of you because I know you have been looking forward to Silk Song since forever now.
It's kind of a mean joke, isn't it?
And I was
yeah, no, fuck that Silk Song trailer that you definitely.
But yeah, again, thanks everyone for being here. I'll be back more than likely Wednesday this week, and then maybe Friday, because Friday's my brother's birthday, so I don't know if we're doing anything that night particularly, or if we're just gonna wait till, because Sunday I'm not gonna stream at all. Sunday's Father's Day.
Oh, you know what? Actually, wait, no, tomorrow's Tuesday. I completely forgot what day it was. So yes, tomorrow demo stream. Wednesday, no stream.
Yeah, I'll be back
D&D.
Wednesday. But yeah, so that's it for me here. Everyone, take care. Good night. Sweet dreams. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Appreciate y'all.